Hello, a little less wind today, my friends. So how are we all today? Today in the UK, I'm just reading the ephemeris for today, for I have a circle tonight. The moon is in Leo, so this is kind of, heart center, solar plexus stuff, all about self, which is interesting because I've just had a massive heckle from somebody who heckled me on one of my posts about the fact that I charged for my events and then went and took it private and heckled me on my messenger service as well. So clearly motivated by their opinion were they. And I have tried to gently respond. And that's been challenging because it's a matter which is very close to my heart, which is it is totally safe to charge for spiritual services. In fact, it's absolutely necessary unless you're bartering for something of equal value. And bartering is just as valid, but it is the law of balance. If you want to receive, you have to give. The common universal language that we have set up in modern times for that is money. There's always been, or for a long time, there's been forms of money. At one point, it was conch shells. It doesn't really matter. Sand dollars, things like that. The point is, there is this necessary need for this. And why? Why? To protect the person that's giving, to make sure they don't overgive. There's safety around that, so they are safe. And to make sure that they don't make themselves ill by overgiving, but also to make sure the receiver receives to that balance safely and without any sense of guilt or owing or nothing. It is a contract. It is a sacred contract. And just like everything, if you want to receive something, then you need to pay for it in some way, shape or form, because that's just the law of balance. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Today, Mercury's gone direct. So we're back on the direct stage, and we're still in Pisces with that, but it is direct. Venus is still retrograde. We're going to have to wait till Sunday for Venus to go direct. What else is going on? So Jupiter is at 17 degrees of Gemini. Saturn is moving through Pisces and now is at 25 degrees. So we have Saturn and Venus conjunct in Pisces. One is going the right way and one is going the wrong way. So are there solid foundations to those past loves that you think passed you by? I guess it's asking you to find the truth in reconnecting with people from your past. Are you also put some sense of responsibility and some structure around issues of self-worth? Maybe that's what this was about, what happened to me, because I certainly felt very in my power and no need to apologize for what I do. Whereas in the past, something like that would have probably rocked me a little bit, but no. Then we have, okay, so that's conjunct. Uranus is also at 25 degrees, and that's in Taurus, so that's moved on a degree. So thankfully it's moving slowly out of Taurus. Please hurry up. It doesn't leave entirely until next year, but that's in my 4th house of home, so I really need that to hurry up. But look at it wherever it is in your chart, but that's going to be related to Saturn and to Venus. So Uranus, the higher path, the higher power, you will be pulled onto it irrespective of whether you're trying to hide in comfortable patterns. And then Neptune is at 0 degrees of Aries. We know this is the beginning. You're putting on your warrior outfit. You're like, hey, I'm bang on for this. And then Pluto is still at 3 degrees of Aquarius. So we've got this kind of, new beginnings, and certainly what's going on around the world with certain financial experiences and situations is interesting. Maybe it's interesting. Venus also represents self-worth and money. It's retrograde at the moment. Lots of things are changing. I know this is a massive call to action. It's got to get people where it hurts, so people start questioning whether they want the minority to rule the majority, which is ultimately what we want to stop happening. We want everything to be kind of more fairer and people to be more accountable. The political systems that we have, certainly in the West, in fact, probably around the world, not all of the world though, are pretty corrupt, and they have kind of spawned dynasties. And it may not be kings and queens, but it's certainly dynasties, private school dynasties that, it's a club, isn't it? A club. And it shouldn't be a club. And it's set up to be so off-putting to go into politics, the amount of time it takes to do it, that actually, by putting it that way, it remains in the hands of those who can afford to go into politics, not necessarily those who really kind of feel passionate about it. And you say, oh, well, there's people that have come out of impoverished backgrounds that have gone into politics. Yes, if they have amazing support structures around them and no children. Interesting, isn't it? So, things to ponder, things to think about. That's the same thing, Claire. Yes, it is. Older full moon. The full moon is actually happening. God, when is the full moon actually happening? I know I'm running a ceremony on Saturday and it actually happens on Sunday, so that's the 13th of April, so that's a full moon. And it's in Libra, full moon in Balance. Oh my god, isn't that beautiful? I had no understanding of that, and of course it would be if we were in school, if we were in Leo right now. By the time it gets around there, it's going to be in Libra, of course. So everything, it all relates, it's all interconnected. I'm really kind of aware of that more and more. Bless you and bless me. And if you need me for hypnotherapy or spiritual counselling, readings, healing, anything, I would be delighted to hear from you. Have a wonderful day.